Hello, we're going to play some Hearthstone. Specifically, an arena run. Now, I'm not great at Hearthstone, so if you're expecting a pro player, you are going to be disappointed. Sorry. But I do enjoy it, and it's fun, and I think you'll get to laugh at my terrible draft choices and the misplays that will inevitably happen. Between Warrior, Priest, and Warlock, I'm actually have a bad track record with Priest, despite it being a pretty good class overall. Warlock seems to be a very aggressive, hurt-yourself kind of style deck, and I tend to be bad at it. Of the three, I have the most success with Warrior. Ancient Mage, Alarmobot, Injured Blademaster. Injured Blademaster is actually an interesting card for Warrior because of Rampage, which allows you to buff injured creatures. Alarmobot I kind of hate because he's a high priority target for 3 mana. He could get out a 10 cost creature and it could be amazing, or the enemy could just nuke it down and kill it, which is usually what happens. Ancient Mage actually is more interesting in a Warrior deck than one might originally think, because there are actually quite a few Warrior spells, but Injured Blademaster is a better choice. Shield Bearer, Windfury Harpy, Sinjin Shieldmaster, Tazdingo. He's a great choice. He's solid all around. I kind of hate the Windfury Harpy. She's very expensive for the stats you get out of her, and again, Windfury makes her very high priority. With some buffs, she has enough health to actually be pretty dangerous, but not for this kind of deck. If I could somehow buff her on the turn I drop her, she might live, but again, with 5 health, she's a high priority target. Shield Bearer can be interesting, especially if I get some things like Inner Rage or Cruel Taskmaster. I can drop him and then suddenly have an attacking minion that's also a taunt. I can't really guarantee that's going to happen though, and if I don't, he's nothing more than a slight nuisance. So Tazdingo's solid all around. Scarlet Crusader, Charge, Novice Engineer. I like Charge, but there are other ways for minions to get charged that don't rely on having to have Charge. Because it also means you burn a card, which is very valuable. Novice Engineer is great for card draw. It's also a solid 2-drop. Scarlet Crusader actually is pretty good. It's a little annoying to get rid of with having a Divine Shield. I don't know. I think this gets overvalued a little bit. I am actually going to grab some little bit of card draw. Youthful Brewmaster can be interesting if you have some kind of an effect where you can take advantage of several battle cries in a row. As it stands, this early in the draft, we don't have anything other than maybe card draw that we could do it with. I think we actually are going to go ahead and grab another Novice Engineer, though. Raid Leader, Tauren Warrior, Archmage. The Tauren Warrior is okay. He's not great. I actually prefer the Amarni Berserker to him, because despite not having Taunt, it has an Enrage mechanic, and it's only a 2-drop. The Taunt I don't feel is worth the extra mana cost, because by the time you get that Taunt up, there's several options that the enemy will have, whether they're on turn 3 or their turn 4, on dealing 3 health to a minion like this. Archmage is okay, but for the cost, I'd prefer an Ogre. I will actually grab the Raid Leader, though. I like the Raid Leader overall. Between these options, actually, I like the Kor'kron Elite. It's a solid 4-drop. It's good for getting rid of minions that are a real pain in the ass. Oh, how I wish that I had both of these cards. Oh. Inner Rage is a great card. Raging Worgen is a much better card. We could have some fun with the Raging Worgen. Heroic Strike, Earthring Farseer, Boulder Fist Ogre. The Earthring Farseer actually does not fit the synergy of this deck at all, so we're not going to take that. I like the Boulder Fist Ogre. 6 cost, 6/7. It's immune to silence. It's just a big, scary, hurtful thing that they have to deal with. Hey, there's that Rampage I was talking about. Between the 3 of these, Rampage is absolutely the answer. We could have a lot of fun if we get that together. Oh, and we get a legendary choice. This is not every time. King Mukla is kind of funny. The 2 bananas, it turns out, are actually adding their 1 cost +1/+1 to any minion card. He's a very powerful, though, 3-drop nonetheless, because he is a 5/5. Grama Hellscream, I've actually never used him. I think if you could take advantage of his enrage before you attack, he could be very, very scary. Because it's 10 damage out of nowhere. The problem is doing that damage to him before you attack with him. Because with charge, you can trigger the enrage, but then immediately that means he's taken damage. And that 4 damage that he does isn't that great for turn 8. He's very expensive. If you can protect Nat Pagel, though, he's guaranteed to get you cards. This is actually a very difficult choice for me. I do think that we wouldn't get the use out of Graham Hellscream as much as I think he fits the theme of this deck better. I don't think the utility is quite there, so I think it's between these two. Pagel gets us some more card draw. King Mukla potentially could cause issues later, but in the short term gets us a really nasty card that could hurt a lot. Plus, we could actually enrage it instead. I'm going to get Mukla. Ooh, another Rampage or a Fairy Dragon or Stone Tusk Boar. We don't have a lot of offensive 2-drops right now. We have a lot of 2-cost things. Having another Rampage, though, would not be bad for what we're trying to do here. Let's hope we get a Fairy Dragon later. Swamp Ooze, Cult Master, Razorfin Hunter. We're getting a lot of 3-cost cards, which isn't bad. I do like the Cult Master. Once you've built up some board presence, you can throw him out there and start sacking creatures and get a lot of benefit for him. Swamp Ooze is a good, solid offensive 2-drop that also has the nice effect of destroying an opponent's weapon. The problem is the opponent's probably not going to have a weapon on turn 2 that's worth destroying, which means that you wind up not using him for so much the 3-2, but for his battle cry of destroying the opponent's weapon. Very annoying when you can make it work, but situational because it only works on 3 classes. Shaman, Rogue, Warrior. I guess Hunter, too. Among all of them, I feel like the Razorfin Hunter is probably a pretty solid choice, but I think I'd like to go with the Cult Master and see if we can get some card draw out of him. Murloc Tide Collar is not even an option. Mind Control Tech, in my opinion, isn't even an option. We're going to go with Kodo. I hate the Cold Light Seer. We don't have enough spells to make the Mana Addict nice. We don't really have Taunt right now, and Defender of Auguries is an awesome card. So, not even an issue. Dalaran Mage actually got nerfed. It was better when it was a 2-4, obviously. Anymore, I feel like that's probably not even a useful card outside of maybe, say, Priest Mage decks. Maybe some very high spell nuking type Hunter or Rogue decks, but those aren't very popular. Frost Elemental, I don't really value the freeze worth the extra mana. Whereas the Dragonlink mechanic, I like splitting those two up. The Dragonlink mechanic has enough health for us to play with some Rampage mechanics, possibly some other enrage requirements, plus it gets us a couple more minions. Ooh, another Rampage. I don't really need another Rampage, but I do like the Cruel Taskmaster. Again, for an immediate 2-drop, not great, but you can use the 1 damage either to do something like, if you don't use him on turn 2, you can do something clever like a turn 2 Coin Raging Worgen. If they don't deal with it, you can then use a Cruel Taskmaster on turn 4 to trigger its enrage and give it bonus attack. He synergizes pretty well with quite a few of the things we have. As much as I love card draw, we do need a weapon, and although the Fire Vortex isn't great, it gives us some early game removal. The Young Dragonhawk is worthless outside of a Hunter deck, in my opinion. Cleave is good for, again, early board removal. It's very low damage, but if they only throw out a couple of low health things by, say, turn 2 or turn 3, it's nice to be able to get them off the board. It would actually work pretty well with our Fiery War Axe in that regard. Heroic Strike, again, it's 4 damage. If you don't have a weapon, it just gives you +4 attack, so it's still pretty good removal, but I view it as kind of a waste compared to, like, a Fiery War Axe. As much as I want to like the Core Hound, 5 health is just not enough. But that 9 damage is terrifying. Thromar Farseer, although it has Wind Fury, without buffing it up with something else to buff up its attack, it's just not that worth it. It has the same problem as the Harpy, just at a lesser cost. Battle Rage can be very good if you have lots of minions on the field at any given time that have low health. We don't have a lot of minions right now that have very high health, which is kind of a problem. We need to work on that and look for some better ones. We've got Sinjin, we've got Stampeding Kodo, Ogre, the Taskmaster, the Injured Blade Master. So really, it could pay off. It could be good for us, but I feel like it would be better to get some guaranteed presence on the board. So we're going to go with another one of the Cruel Taskmasters. South Sea Captain, I don't have any pirates, so that doesn't help me. Hungry Crab, if you have Murlocs, it's awesome. If you don't, it's worthless. Big Game Hunter, on the other hand, great reserve card in case the opponent plays something big and scary, or if you can, buff them with something like the Cruel Taskmaster. If it's a 6 health, or if it's a 6 attack thing like a Dread Infernal or Stormwind Champion, you can drop Cruel Taskmaster, buff it up to 7, Big Game Hunter, kill it. It's not great to do it, but it can work. Also, if they buff something to high hell, it's just good to have in the back pocket. The Bloodsail Raider, if we had more weapons, I almost want to take her more, but the Gorobashi Berserker works better with the theme of this overall deck. Mad Bomber can work for that same effect, but God, I hate the Mad Bomber. I feel like he always kills me. Incidentally, if we had a Fiery War Axe and we had a Bloodsail Raider, that's a great combo in the sense that you get a 5/3 on turn 3 if you have the coin. Again, though, 3 health on turn 3, it has the same problems. It's probably going to die before it gets to attack. So we're going to go with the Gorobashi Berserker. We also need some endgame punch. This is a hard choice, actually. So we've got a Core Crown Elite, which by all rights is a solid card. We've got an Arcanine Reaper, which is awesome for removal at the expense of our face, and then Inner Rage, which syncs up with a couple of our other cards pretty well. Boy, I want to take the Inner Rage, but if I have no minions, it doesn't do me any good. The Core Crown Elite only does me as good as he has minions that do less than 3 damage, and if I'm using one of these to take out a minion, I may as well have gotten the extra hit out of the Reaper. So, Reaper. This is actually a pretty easy choice. Harvest Golem is a solid 3-drop that is hard to get rid of. I do have 2 weapons. The Artifact Weaponsmith is actually pretty solid, in the sense that you do get that weapon out of it. It's a 2/2 weapon, so it's not great, but it's enough to take out some of those other weaker, more annoying minions, or things like Shaman Totems, things that you don't want to really waste a minion's attack on, so it's more of a bonus. A 3rd Rampage would just be silly, I think, as would a 3rd Cruel Taskmaster. We have lots of 2-cost things already, so I think we ought to go with the Weaponsmith. Archmage, again, for the spells that we have, it doesn't help us really. Not by the time we would have it. Whirlwind is... It's good if he floods the minions like in a Murloc deck or something before it really picks up steam, but the chances of actually being able to put this to good use, I feel, are pretty limited. If we had lots of enraged creatures, which we don't. We have a couple, but we don't have a ton. This would be more useful. Incidentally, this could be useful with, say, Rampage to make any minion in our deck get buffed up a little bit. We also have a Silver Moon Guardian, which doesn't actually work all that well. He works a little bit well with the Cruel Taskmaster, except that I'm exchanging the bubble for a couple more damage. It makes him a 5/3 with no bubble. They're probably going to pop the bubble by the time that you get to attack with it anyway. And for 3/3 with a bubble, I mean, again, really annoying. Hard to get rid of. But I think we might actually be able to do something clever with the Whirlwind if we get it. The War Leader's no option, the Hunger Crab's no option, especially because frickin' Gore Howl. Spiteful Smith is hilarious, period. It's really a shame that we don't have Charge or a Warsong Commander or something else, because now that I picked up that Gore Howl, I'm liking the idea of this Bloodsail Raider, because you could potentially actually get a 9/3 out of this Raider. I have no way to protect it. other than possibly popping it with Whirlwind and rampaging it up. But again, it's just so eclectic, it's never going to happen. We have a decent number of weapons, which makes this Spiteful Smith actually not a bad idea. He's a 4/6 on his own outright anyway. The fact that by taking any damage he gives you some bonuses to your weapon attack isn't bad either. The problem is typically you're going to pop a weapon to deal with enemies, and you're probably going to overkill them anyway in most cases. We have 4 weapons in this deck, and Gore Howls are really mostly useful for attacking enemy minions rather than attacking the hero, because as soon as you attack the hero, it's gone. However, having a second cleave will help with early game removal. It's no choice. I have to take this Warsong Commander. It's the only one I've been offered. Man, they're just throwing these Taskmasters at me. Do I really want it? Not really. This Earthen Ring Farseer, it's a 3/3 on its own. The fact that it restores 3 health. I just feel like it's a better play than the Cruel Taskmaster. Let's take it, just so we have better options. This gives us some late game punch, which is nice, but the Sun Fury Protector gives us some early game taunt to help them from punching in our face. The problem, again, is it's mostly 2 cost. I'm not really digging this mana curve right now. We do need some in-game punch, though, and the Assassin might be a good way of doing it. That's our draft.
Garrosh versus Thrall.
Hello, Thrall.
For Doomhammer. Victory or death.
Alright, having the Rampage could be nice, especially with this Cruel Taskmaster, because I could actually get a turn 4 play here if I get a 3-cost minion out of this. I am going to get rid of that. I have several 3-cost minions. I have a pretty high chance of getting... It's too eclectic. I have lots of Rampages, I'm sure, to get more. That could have been better. That could have been a lot better. Oh well. Oh. You're throwing your coin out right away, huh? Really? Why would you choose to do that? That just seems like a waste of a coin. That's very strange. Well, I could throw out the Cruel Taskmaster here, but I'd really prefer to be able to use him on something rather than just give up his battle cry. But at the same time, it gives me a minion on the board. I don't want to give him too much board control, and I have 3 of these things, so... Oh, wait. I may actually have to use his battle cry because there is a minion on the field. I actually don't know how that works. I don't think you can elect not to use a battle cry if there's a minion on the field that can be the right recipient of it. So, we're going to armor up instead.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
Okay. I'm actually glad I saved that back. Because now I'm going to use the Cruel Taskmaster to kill this abusive sergeant.
Back to work.
Job's done.
There we go. I'd like to save the Warsong Commander until I have something that's actually scary that I can attack with. I.e. drop it and kind of a drop it and run situation. He's gonna start trying to buff up the school, which is kind of cute. How do I want to do this? I think I will actually throw her out.
You like my invention?
I really like your invention. Keep giving me inventions like that, I will be thrilled. It'll be useful later. Right now it's not great, but still, having it in the back pocket is not bad to have.
Tazdingo! Yeah.
Oh, damn it, Tazdingo. I think there's really only one option here. We have an interesting situation for a combo here between Whirlwind, our Raging Workin, and our Warsong Commander. And that turn's going to be here really soon.
I wonder.
Let's go ahead and just clear this board out. This is not something I want to deal with right now. We'll kill that. That, again, buffs up his pool really high, but we don't want him around anymore. I took 1 damage, but that's what the Arcanite Reaper's for. It's for taking out minions that have lots of health and that act as a blockade to what we want to do. You're really liking your totems, aren't you? Really like your totems. I wonder if you have a heavy spell power deck or something. Maybe you just don't have much taunt. That could be it too. Really? That's all you're going to choose to do? That's... I don't entirely understand that choice, actually. Well, there is only 1 minion on the board right now that will actually take that much damage, so it's between that and Ted's Dingo and armoring up.
I wonder.
And then next turn I actually would really like to do my Warsong Commander along with the Raging Warrior and Whirlwind thing. So if I throw it out right now, he's just going to nuke this down. And actually, if I threw it out afterwards, he would too, unless I hide it.
Yeah.
So we're going to hide it. And we're going to hold on to that Reaper. Because if he throws out anything with a substantial amount of health, I'd like to just kill it. And it's going to be between Gorehowl. Ah, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to be able to do. Okay. Alright. Now this is going to look kind of silly, and maybe it is actually. I may be trying to force this combo more than I should. But the idea of it intrigues me, so we're going to punch this in the face, take the damage. We're going to put out the Worgen. We're going to Whirlwind. And then we're going to put out the Warsong Commander. Take that out. Get him in the face twice for 8. That way I didn't hurt my Warsong Commander. Order matters. This is when he pulls out a Lightning Storm and just wipes my board. Or he hexes my Worgen, which would be kind of funny. Oh. No, you're just going to play something mean and scary. Okay. Ooh. Now I have options. Can I kill him? That gives it +3/+2. That makes it 7, 14. I can kill him. So I'm just going to kill him, I think. I think I can kill him. Yeah, it's 14, 16, 19. And then I just throw out her.
Try this.
There we go. He's dead.
Watch this.
Huh! The Worgen worked.
Kerash versus Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine.
Oh, as much as I want to keep Gorehowl, it's a stupid idea. Having the Warsong Commander early will be helpful, though. The Cruel Taskmaster, not so... Well, I take that back. The Cruel Taskmaster could be nice if he throws out any 1-health creatures that could pose a problem. Although there really aren't any from a Warlock that I could target, because all of his 1-health things would have Stealth, which would then buff everything else up to have tons of HP too. So we're going to get rid of it and hope we get a better 2-drop. Actually, the Cleave could be really nice here.
You shall not pass.
Well, that doesn't help me. Well, I'm not going to do anything then. And are you going to get lots of little minions behind this? Not really.
I smell.
Sort of. That's disappointing. What makes sense here? We have lots of spells. We really don't have a lot of creatures right now. Big Game Hunter doesn't make sense. If I put out the Warsong Commander, he's just going to focus fire it down. I think we cleave and hope that we take out the Worgen. 67% chance. Damn it! Not surprised.
What you want?
Boy, you have a lot of taunt. Alright, how do I want to do this? That's really unfortunate. I really don't want to throw out my commander because, again, he's just going to focus fire it down. He would have to use both of his attacking minions to kill it, and he really can't afford to keep it alive. The Cult Master will die to one minion, so he's not worth it. The Big Game Hunter, again, not worth it. Gurubashi would be great, but I can't use it until next turn. Well, buy Warsun Commander. He will have to deal with it. He can't afford not to. Because if he's retarded and doesn't, I'm going to Gurubashi him in the face. And enrage that thing.
Locked and loaded.
Aw, damn it. Well, you can't do much about it. I hate to throw out the Gurubashi with no protection, but he could do 4 with his minions, which would be dumb because it buffs it. He has a shield wall, so he may just ignore it because he could. He won't have an insta-kill till later unless he has corruption. I think it's the best choice. If he pulls a corruption, I'm going to be very upset. He is just going to ignore me, which actually probably is the better idea right now. It probably makes more sense for him to just start punching me in the face. Unfortunately, that's kind of what I was hoping he would do, because we're going to take out that. We are definitely going to buff this. And we're going to play a Harvest Golem because that can take out his taunt wall next turn.
Done.
He's probably just going to instant nuke it to the ground now. 2 Shadow Bolts would do it. He may have another taunt from that. Wow. He did not get what he was looking for, apparently. Okay. That wasn't the right choice, I don't think, sir. I think it was much smarter for you. I don't see where that was a good decision on your part.